Golfers, if you are struggling with the slice, you are not alone. Believe it or not, most golfers tend to slice the ball rather than hit the ball straight or draw. Today you're going to find exactly how to fix that slice or swing more into out. Welcome back to the Swing Lab Performance Golf YouTube channel. I'm Thomas Campbell, Director of Instruction, and I've today got Ian Mackenzie-Olson with me. He's also a fellow teaching professional. Ian, what is the most common thing you see people come in when they're coming for a lesson?
A lot of golfers come in with an inside takeaway that leads to a big loop at the top of their golf swing and a big outside in follow through, which leads to a big slice. Yeah,
so the end result is, a slice. Generally, their club face is more open to what we're seeing with their path.
Right.
Let's face it, more golfers do slice the ball than they do draw the ball. So this is going to be a very good topic. So golfers, if this is a topic that really relates to you, make sure that you do stay tuned to this video. Also, make sure you subscribe to our channel and let us know what you think when you're working on your golf game to try and swing more into out or draw the golf ball. Really breaking this down, it comes down to, as you mentioned, takeaway. We've got to make sure we get the golfer to swing back more on plane. Because if you're taking it on the inside, you don't have any more room to then swing from the inside. So you see a lot of golfers that take it really far inside, and then that big loop you talked about, where the club kind of goes out, they start the swing more with their arms. So the first thing you need to address is definitely takeaway. So we need to get a drill to work on with regards to getting that club that golf shaft to stay closer to the swing plate line. So we're going to focus on that. Just a little hint, that's going to be more like to do with like rolling the golf ball back. The second thing is that transition. So what they do at the top of their golf swing. Well, I have a drill that I really like to use with golfers, and that's called the drop the right foot back drill. So dropping that foot back, several inches to give you more room to allow you to drop the club on the inside. Well, now that we're swinging in to out, we got to make sure we still release. So then we've got to talk about the grip and how you rotate your lower body through to make sure you still hit the ball pretty straight. So we're going to go through the process of how you would fix a slice and stop swinging out to in and create a more in to out golf swing. To start out, I am going to hit some shots here where I'm going to intentionally swing out to in and talk about what we see very, very commonly in golf swing, and then we're going to fix it.
All right, Thomas, want to see you do your best and try to recreate a big outside-inside swing, resulting in a big slice. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, and this is kind of pretty common, what I've definitely noticed here in the last few weeks of people, swinging very far out to in, and it's been a common theme to try and fix. So let's hit some shots here, and I'll just show exactly what we're seeing with regards to an out to in swing.
Okay.
Yeah, that definitely felt like I was using my arms to swing as I was coming down, and took it a little more on the outside. And
Trackman's telling us you swung 5 degrees left, so you definitely succeeded.
Yeah, that was a big slice, and that's definitely not the numbers I'm used to seeing with my 7-iron.
All right.
Yeah, let's hit a couple more. Well, it's nice to know I can hit a fade or a slice if I need to, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, so when I'm doing this, I'm really what I notice a lot of golfers they do is on the takeaway, their hands, they pull the club on the inside. So I mentioned they don't have any room once they're inside to stay inside. So the first move we're seeing from the top is where the hands kind of move a little bit out. And on the downswing, what we generally see is this golf shaft is going kind of right through the left arm, or even on the outside on the downswing. That's showing the out to in.
So it's just kind of showing the importance of, the takeaway. It doesn't just have to do with your downswing. It has a lot to do with your takeaway as well.
Oh, yes. I'm a firm believer that the takeaway sets you up for success on the downswing. And you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be robotic. Don't have to look like everyone's golf swing. But you got to think about, there's some golfers that have really succeeded with an inside or an outside swing. You look at like Jim Furyk's swing, for example. It looked wonky, but he also hit thousands of balls a week. Most golfers don't have the time to hit thousands of balls each week to keep their swing, consistent for what they're doing. So that's why it's important to be closer to the swing plane on the way back and the way through.
All right.
So first thing we want to focus on is takeaway, you mentioned. So a drill that I really like to use is what's called kind of like the push the ball back drill. So I know, I think I've seen on social media in the last few months, I think it was Jessica Quarter, she posted her, there was a post of her doing this drill essentially. So even the best golfers in the world still do this drill. So they're trying to get themselves to kind of roll that ball back straight. If you pull it inside, what's going to happen is that ball is just kind of rotate, go inside. What you need to feel is like that ball kind of pushes back on a straight line to get that club to stay on plane or closer to your swing plane line. So I'm going to do a couple of shots here when I do that to try and fix that takeaway. We can look on camera and see what that does.
All right.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, and I really like on that takeaway how as that club's going back, now the golf shaft is going to be right what we call the swing plane line. Mm-hmm. So when you draw a line kind of up the golf shaft from the heel right through your body, that is the swing plane line. That's where we want that takeaway to stay pretty close to on the start.
And this is such a good drill too, because you don't need any fancy, expensive training aids. It's literally a couple golf balls, and you can get your takeaway started perfectly on plane.
Right. Yeah. No. It is, and really it takes out any of the hands doing anything wonky. I've used this drill in the past where I would always have this really early hinge when I was younger in my swing. But what it does, it gets me on a nice wide turn because I'm not really hinging as much early in the swing. Let's do one more. There we go. So 0.8 on the club path. So pretty good. Okay, so that's a great drill to get you on plane on the takeaway. Another thing that can also help to get you on plane on the takeaway is just simply alignment. Because if you are closed or open, naturally you're going to follow it with regards to where your hands go and like that. So one thing I do notice when golfers swing really, really far out to in is they might be open with their setup. So what they're doing is they don't have room to drop it on the inside. So what happens is they kind of move following their feet and shoulder line. And as you slice the ball, the further you slice the ball, the further you aim further left, aim more and more left, and you play that bigger slice. We've got to find a way to get ourselves back to give ourselves room to now swing it from the inside. So the second thing that I like to do is actually kind of try and do the opposite of how you would set up if you're going to hit a slice. So actually, alignment is really important. If you drop this right foot back a little bit as a drill, get your shoulders to be aimed to the right. So if you swing down the right, club path's going to be to the right, right? Yeah. So let's try that. And one other thing I also like to add is if you've got an alignment stick there behind you, is I like to talk about in to out swing and talk about, I use like baseball terminology, right field or down first base. So we want the club, as you're coming through, to travel down towards right field.
Right.
If our body turns, it's never going to be out there. Obviously if you don't turn, you're going to swing that way. But if you rotate through, it's never going to be out that position. So I'm going to hit a shot here where I really exaggerate, I really drop the right foot back, and just show how far into out you can really swing if you drop that foot back. Okay, so I'm going to drop it back about 6 inches. I'm going to make sure my shoulders kind of follow that line. And all I'm going to focus on is trying to feel like on the downswing that I've got room to swing that way. It's important to note when you're doing this, obviously because you're aimed to the right now, it's easy to take it inside. So when you're working on drills, you've got to focus on one drill at a time because it may look like all of a sudden you're taking it inside. Let's see what I can do. It definitely hit the screen a little bit more on the right side.
Oh yeah.
It's 17 degrees into out. And I've practiced this a few times. So I can tell you I went for an entire winter of going from fading or slicing the ball to getting the more into out and drawing the ball. But what that does, if you look on the camera, is you'll notice on the downswing that the golf shaft as you're coming down is going to be closer to this right arm now rather than the left arm. And that's what we're trying to fix. So
kind of just dropping your right foot back, that just almost forces you to drop the club inside instead of looping it over the top.
You have more room, yes. Okay. Yeah. And the other thing you can do is, I've worked on or I've seen other people do the opposite to what you're doing if you take it inside and move them this way, trying to feel like you take the club on the outside and then drop it on the inside.
Okay.
So like a reverse figure 8 essentially is another way to do that. So I mean, you can do that with the foot drop back, or you can do it with a square stance and just take the club on the outside and then drop it on the inside. That felt like I had a lot more room to then drop that on the inside. Third most important thing is making sure that you turn through the ball. Because now what's going to happen is you're actually going to come in a little bit more shallower. If we don't turn and transfer our weight onto our left side, you're going to hit the club back here and you can catch a little heavy. Yeah, so you got to make sure that when you're doing this, that you make sure that you still rotate and turn through. So it's really like 3 steps. It's takeaway, it's the transition and where that club drops, and then it's rotating through and finishing on the left side.
And I think it's important that, for most golfers, it might feel like you're making an extreme change, but on camera, you're probably making a change of inches. So, as you're doing this drill or these drills, don't be afraid to exaggerate it. Like Thomas was doing, like he was setting his foot back, a half a foot, even closer to a foot. You can, really exaggerate these drills to help, create the performance you're looking for.
Yeah, and I think, finally to finish off here, external cues are also nice. So yes, you can record yourself on video, but if you, there's some devices out there that are made for this. Like, for example, the Chili Whacker. This particular device here, you can set this up in a position where if you're taking on the inside, well, you're going to hit this. So you get some feedback, right? You're taking on the outside, you're going to hit this. And your goal would be to bring the club on the way back, and then on the downswing will be to come through there. Most golfers will do probably okay on the way back, but I guarantee you they'll hit that one on the top there. So external cue is always nice to see, to try and fix where you're coming down with regards to the club. You can purchase this device, or you can set up your own. You can grab a pool noodle or grab an alignment stick, stick it out of your bag, and have a guide there for you to feel like you're now swinging underneath something to force you to not hit a pool noodle or not hit a club or something like that. Yeah, so these are the steps to improve your club path. One of the most common things we definitely see here at Swing Lab is an out to in swing, or someone that slices the ball. Guarantee if you follow these tips, you will improve your golf swing and you will not hit a slice anymore.